I am late to the Talisman game. I never played this game before I obtained it fairly recently, and I've been playing it pretty obsessively since I got it. And here's a look at what I've got going on. I am, of course, trying to tinker with it and make it into some kind of co-op thing here, and I've been experimenting with having the characters in some of the thematic characters to the graveyard as roaming around the graveyard there and being people you need to encounter. And I've also had this thief wandering around the board doing his action of stealing things or demanding money. And I had the assassin, but I took him off actually because that really wasn't working out. So what I've been trying to do is put some story into this beyond the little stories you get with the cards, and I'm finding it extremely adaptable and flexible for doing that. The management of the stuff is a bit much. I'm using the other rules for fate, the dark fate and the light fate. I like that. That came in one of the expansions, but it makes a lot of sense to me. And I am also I've got the dungeon expansion, the Woodlands expansion, and absolutely no room for them here. So I can sort of, you already saw this pulled back here to see what I've got going. My plan is to get, again, I am tinkering with the rules a lot. Certainly not going to do a video on it, but I'm just sort of telling you what's going on here on the tabletop. I've got my necromancer here, and he's going to descend, if he can make it in here, he's going to descend, and he is going to then get into the dungeon. There's going to be a dungeon underneath here, and I'm going to move to the dungeon map. Once I get, I guess, all my characters in there, they're going to go through the dungeon and maybe come out the woodlands. I'm not really sure, but there are so many characters and just so much life to this game that compared to the last video I posted up a couple days ago on Code Word Cromwell, which was obviously in a different genre, but a game attempting to impose a story or to develop a story from imposed conditions. This is really the opposite of it. You've got a zillion just totally random things coming in with these cards here, and the characters all together, you know, making really little thematic sense. I mean, a leprechaun and a necromancer and a knight and a prophetess I've got, but it's just lovely the way the details of this allow for an expansive story to develop in your mind. And as I said, I've been tinkering with just a way of playing it with these sort of co-op hapless adventurers going around trying to deal with some of the characters that are already on the board and then make their way into a dungeon and, I don't know, do something. It doesn't really matter what, but it's been a blast. So that's a look at the Geek Gamer's desk. No video on this one aside from these little thoughts, but it took me a long time to find this game, and it was certainly worth the wait.